Had a hard-fought game out there. Let's get your thoughts on the victory by the Buffaloes.
Well, it was a hard-fought win. We certainly don't make it easy on ourselves, in the second half. Our offense in the second half, last few games, has kind of gone a little stagnant and dry, but shoot first half, 52%, pretty darn efficient, shot the ball pretty well. And then, but our turnovers, Mark, are becoming an issue. And that's where we make it hard on ourselves. We had 9 of them at halftime. And then we had finished the game with 16. That's too many. We want to keep that thing under 11. And, Oregon State does not pressure, although their defense has gotten much, much better. When they played us in Boulder, they played a majority of zone. And tonight they played almost all man, and their man-to-man defense has gotten significantly better. So, but still, we got to take better care of the basketball. But McKinley Wright was great down the stretch. We made free throws when we had to, and I thought our perimeter defense, Eli Parquet did a great job on Jared Lucas. I thought McKinley on Reichel most of the night, and then we switched him over to Ethan Thompson, who's a heck of a player. Oregon State does a great job of getting that ball in the paint. They pivot well, and they finish well for perimeter players. So great defensive effort, and that's what won us the game tonight.
Ted, the turnover thing's interesting. You guys come into this road trip averaging just over 10. I mean, you're one of the top teams in the Pac-12, and all of a sudden, I don't know what kind of bug you caught there in Oregon, but it's interesting because it seems like a lot of them are coming kind of the unforced variety.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Mark. You took the words out of my mouth. It's like in tennis, you got the unforced errors, and in basketball, you got unforced turnovers, and we're having way too many of those. Some of them are going to happen. The offensive fouls, the illegal screens, those are going to happen throughout the course of a game. But we got the ones that we can control: dribbling the ball, passing the ball, catching the ball. We talked about it after the Oregon game the other night, how many passing and catching turnovers we had. And, tonight there were quite a few illegal screens and a couple offensive fouls, but, we got to take better care of the basketball. There's no doubt about that.
Coach, you snapped that short 2-game losing streak, and I think that says something. When you think of losing 2 at this time of year, the way you did, for many folks around the program, also you start thinking about last year, like, oh no. So doing what those guys did tonight in a game like this kind of talks to the character and kind of the intestinal fortitude of this team, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mark, and I'm not even thinking about last year. I know our players aren't. So, that's for the media to talk about and, bring up and fans to worry about. But this is a new year, a new team. These guys fight and battle. The Cal loss stings still. The Oregon loss, was one we could have gotten, but we didn't. And you move on to the next game. And that's the one thing this team has done a really good job of this year, better than their fans, better than their media followers, and the coaching staff, I think, has done a good job of not dwelling on the past, but learning from it and getting guys better and understanding the mistakes that they're making and move on from them. So we got to continue to do that. Even after this win, we've got to do that.
All right. And the way it turns out, you come home now, 2 more games in the regular season, a couple of big ones with the LA schools coming to town.
Yeah. Big games. Big games against SC on Thursday.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and continue with media. I think we might be switching computers here, so everybody hang on for a second.
We're good.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Pat Rooney, go ahead and start us off.
Hey, Tad. Not too many games this year where you have not shot well from 3 and managed to pull out a victory. You rebounded the ball well tonight. You talked about the defense already. But what's to say about this club that you're able to get the job done without your best effort from long range?
Well, Pat, look, we got to the foul line, and that's something we talked about. I can't remember if I was talking about it with you or with Mark Johnson on the pregame, but, when you're having trouble shooting the ball, you got to get the ball to the rim, you got to finish in the lane, or you better get to the free throw line. And tonight we were able to get to the free throw line for the first time, seems like for forever. And again, this team, 86%, 19 for 22. That was a big difference in that game tonight was the free throw line and being effective there.
Okay, Eric's got a question for Coach.
Hey, coach. So the second half starts, offense kind of struggling. McKinley Wright really asserted himself in the second half. Could you just talk about how McKinley created offense for the team in the second half?
Yeah, at some point, Eric, you need your best player or players to make plays. When things are coming down the stretch, and look, that's players make plays, or they don't make plays. And McKinley made plays tonight, and he was. I think he felt better physically tonight, which it showed. Hit a big pull-up jump shot. He got to the rim and finished there down. Because it was a little bit of a trading baskets mode. We couldn't really get stops with them, but we kept scoring, and McKinley was a big part of that. So just a great win, but you need your best players to step up in games like this and make plays. And McKinley did that tonight.
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Coach. You said you love, the way your team kind of forgets about the previous game and moves on. Obviously, as you move towards the postseason, you got to win to move on. So you can't really, forget about the game before. How do you sort of plan on reiterating that, we need to play our best basketball every single night, and it's not, we can't look forward to,
Yeah, look, Jacob, we're not even thinking about postseason right now. We're thinking about the next game, which is USC on Thursday, and finishing out our league schedule. I don't know what's going to lay ahead for us, after this weekend, after the LA schools come to Boulder. But, those two games, the USC game obviously comes first, are critical to this team and to this program in terms of what we want to do. But, as long as you're in league play, what lies ahead. Again, given the assumption, which I don't want to make a false assumption, that everybody stays healthy on both teams. So we're not guaranteed to play USC on Thursday. We're not guaranteed to play UCLA on Saturday, but I sure hope we do, and I know our players do. And that's where it's just live to the next day, and try to keep getting better. And this team is really taking that to heart. We haven't always played well. We haven't always gotten better, but it's not because they're not trying or they're not giving it their all. This team is a connected team. They care about each other. They care about winning. And I think it shows the way we played both Thursday night against Oregon and tonight against Oregon State. We came up a little short against Oregon, but it wasn't because our guys don't care, didn't play hard, and gave their best effort.
Okay, Pat, go ahead.
Hey, Tad, you got another huge boost from Tristan Silva tonight. What was he able to get done out there? And was his play the reason we didn't see much of Jariah in the second half?
Yeah, look, Tristan had it going, and Jariah, look, it has nothing to do with what Jariah did or didn't do. Tristan would had it going. He was playing really well, felt good about the matchup defensively, because they went with a small lineup. We were able to put him on Ethan Thompson, a couple of times. And so we just kind of stuck with it. He was going, but it has nothing to do with, lack of faith in Jariah. Jariah is going to be fine and going to play a lot of big minutes for us as this season winds down. But Tristan keeps getting better. He had the and one. When he's got the ball in his hands, feel really good about things. I feel good about where he is defensively. And when guys are playing good, you kind of want to stick with them. And that's what we did with Tristan tonight. And it's, the next game, it might be Jariah or it might be Dallas. I thought Dallas's minutes were really good. He battled. People have no idea, listening to the game on the radio or even watching it on TV, the Silva kid for Oregon State is just a beast. You can't move him. And Andrea is another big kid that comes in off the bench. And Dallas was battling down there, and that's what we really asked him to do. And he did a good job of that. Evan did a good job of that. Sean did a good job of that. Our rebounding, I thought, was another key to the game tonight as well.
Okay, question from Neil.
Hey, Coach, you touched on what McKinley did tonight, and you just touched on De Silva, but did you get a lot of contributions from a lot of guys? Deshaun Swartz played some defense on Thompson in the first half. Batty had some rebounds. Walton had some rebounds. Was this kind of a team gutty, do stuff that doesn't show up in the box score type of game?
Yeah, and I'll tell you another guy that I thought really guarded when he was in there is Maddox Daniels. I mean, I think he had one of the better defensive games that he's had all year. I thought Maddox gave great effort, and it really helped us when he was in there. Keyshawn didn't, he didn't play a lot of minutes because McKinley plays so many, but Keyshawn, I thought, played good when he was in there too in terms of his defensive effort. And it's hard to have an effect on the game when you play 4 minutes, but yeah, I thought we got contributions from everybody on the defensive, and that's why we were able to hold them to 36% field goal percentage. Defense was a great team effort.
Okay, we got time for one more question. Pat, go ahead.
Hey, Tad, you just mentioned rebounding. 2 really good rebounding games in a row for you guys after you hit kind of a little bit of a rut in that department. Has there been any kind of particular adjustment or, the so-called pep talk or whatever that's gotten the guys going a little bit on the glass?
Well, we've certainly talked about it, and we've certainly watched film about it, but, we are in mid-February. The rebounding drills where you're getting in there and banging around, the last thing I want to do is get somebody hurt. Actually, that's where McKinley, had a little injury a few weeks ago. So we're going to throw those drills out until the preseason next year. But yeah, we just have talked about it. Our guys have taken it to heart, and they've really battled. And a guy that did not mention earlier, in terms of his defensive effort that I thought was the key tonight was Eli Parquet and the job he did on Jared Lucas, because Jared Lucas is a good a shooter as there is in this conference, and he was terrific.